Okay, I kind of got cut off in the last one. This is a continuation of the last video. Like I was saying before, not really to dwell on current events, but I mean it's kind of impossible not to speak on this. And like I said, this material is for it's for a practical purpose and everything. And it has its most useful application when you filter actual situations through it. So in the book, it talks about the reason why we do things. It's a window into the principles in which we are using or relating to or have a relationship when we do certain things or whatever. So you know, just kind of to deal with current events and everything like that. Without speaking about current events, just to say, okay, like I used the example prior with the principle or the concept of freedom. If a person is really dealing with the concept of freedom, they're going to act in a certain kind of way. You're polarizing that particular energy, whatever it looks like. I'm just calling it freedom or whatever the case may be. I mean, you may dissect it and get into deeper semantics of that, but for the sake of this conversation, we'll call it freedom. So if you're appealing to the principle of freedom, or you're acting and you're possessed or driven by the principle of freedom, you will behave in a certain type of way. Like I gave the example of the founding fathers of America and the founding fathers of from the Haitian Revolution and stuff like that. So just kind of going back and kind of dealing with it from a perspective of current events. Um, okay, how can I really say this? Okay, if uh, okay, you know, there are often times where people would suggest to us that they have our best interests in heart, and that's all well and good. And there's nothing wrong with that, and it's always good to see that someone has our best interests at heart, or we would like to think that they have our best interests at heart. But like I said, like I kind of gave that quote from the brother, Gregory Keller's things are self-similar across scale, um, meaning that things repeat frequency. A pattern ain't nothing but a frequency, a waveform, or something of that. It's quality of energy or what have you. So um, you have to examine history and you have to examine certain situations. Um, if I've been trying to give you poison and kind of kill you and your family for the last 5, 6 generations. You know what I'm saying? It's like a silent feud between me and you and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, I say, man, hey, come over here and have some dinner with me, and I'm gonna cook you, this curry shrimp, whatever the case may be, whatever I cook or whatever the case may be. Um, if would you eat behind a person that's been trying to kill you for a period of time? I think the answer would be no, because you would have to question that person's motives for doing what they're doing. So you would have to question, like, hey, why is this person being so nice to me all of a sudden? Because things are self-similar across scale. So with um, a person offering you something for free, or a person offering you something, giving you an incentive to do something. Um, let's say if I had a flat tire and you see me with a flat tire on the side of the road, but you didn't stop. And let's say, what I'm saying, I had, um, let's say my music was too loud or something like that, and you called the police on me or something like that, made a complaint, and you constantly kind of like on my back or whatever case may be. Let's say we live in a homeowners association, you know what I'm saying? And you know, every single thing I do, I throw a barbecue, I do whatever, you call in the homeowners association on me. Let's say you created some sort of agency, you know what I'm saying? Um, this could be similar to Marcus Garvey and UNIA. What I'm saying, anybody familiar with that? His whole situation with J. Edgar Hoover and what I'm saying, all that. Not to really get too much into that, but if I created a whole agency or some sort of organization to stop you from certain levels of progress, you know what I'm saying? Um, why would I be so nice to you all of a sudden? So in putting this on as a helmet to examine a situation, it would be safe to assume that the principle that you're operating off of is not benevolence. You're not operating in my best interest. You're operating in your interest in some sort of way. You know what I mean? And it could potentially have malicious intent. So, yeah, I mean, this, when we're dealing with like principles and patterns and stuff like that, we're dealing with prior behavioral patterns and the reason why people do things. So even if something appears fair seeming on its face or what have you, you might want to go back and have another look at certain things or what have you. And I'm not going to speak about any particular scientific research or any particular testimonies from thousands of doctors or anything of that nature. We're not really gonna get into all that here, but you may want to take a second look because decisions that we make, the consequences of those decisions kind of follow behind us or whatever. But that's sort of like the practicality behind some of this material. It allows you to see situations and see through the illusion and the veil of those situations and kind of get to the point and get to why they may be happening or whatever. And realistically, if a person is mistreated, continue to allow them to mistreat you on whatever level, you're not honoring yourself, and that goes for individual people and groups of people. So, yeah, just to kind of like vaguely touch on that, but you know, I'm pretty sure most people can read between the lines of that. Um, yeah, so I just want to kind of touch on that. The topic, God is not a dude. I hope that was kind of helpful to anybody who's looking at the material. We're not dethroning God in the material, but it's just kind of showing a bigger picture of God or what have you. And say God created the universe, but they've flown satellites out and peered into the deepest recesses of the universe, and they still haven't found this dude that's supposed to be sitting on the throne. And they haven't found angels and things of that nature because in the ancient world there were no such thing as angels. The concept of angels is preceded by the concept of gods, plural. So angels is just a modification of the concept of gods, pure plural, and and it's a play on the concept of emanation. So when you're dealing with the Bible and stuff like that, you're dealing with a story about extraterrestrials. Whether you believe in extraterrestrials or not, that's what you're reading about. You're reading about a story about extraterrestrials. And when we're talking about what we're talking about in True Master, it's not talking about the physical composition so much. We're talking about you as a multi-dimensional being, you as being the eye of the hurricane. You know what I mean? You as being the center of your reality and everything like that, and you as dealing with various different levels of your mind, inclusive of the subconscious mind. So it's a little bit different than our conscious reality, what we're dealing with. It kind of explains why the law of attraction or things of that nature would even be relevant. Let me see here. Um, let's see here. So we talk about, let's see. This is a section of True Master Volume 3. It's called Extra Dimensional Energy, right? Planes or dimensions, as discussed in popular esoteric literature, aren't levels like a video game, but are very energy levels that exist in and around us at all times. Just like there is no electricity that comes from a battery, the electric potential exists in all things, yet there is electromotive force measured in volts that pushes the current, all coming as discharge or radiation from the dielectric field or the ether. What is commonly referred to as magic Hika is no different. It is pushed by intent, not voltage. Its subtle energies are aligned with planetary forces the sphere of Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, etc. Not sphere as in planet sphere, but sphere as in sphere of influence. Although energy does not radiate, although energy does radiate from these individual planets. Okay, and their hierarchy of energy subordinate to them called angels or demons. The planets in astrology are various potential energy fields symbolically represented by the physical planets, as in Mercury, communication, Mars, action, Venus, love, etc. What we are calling principles are akin to what physics calls potential energy fields, having a magnitude everywhere in space, but not having a direction, similar to the temperature in a room. There is a quote from Nikola Tesla: "There is no energy in matter other than that received from its environment." That's what Nikola Tesla is talking about. He's talking about ether fields. What we are calling patterns, language of situations, language of position, language of emotion, etc., are polarizations of potential energy fields. A worthwhile contrast would be that of antenna theory. Antenna theory talks about that, talk about how antennas send and receive um, frequency. It could be viewed that what is being described in True Master is using a particular pattern, ritual sequence of actions to filter a particular type of energy out of the omnipotent ether. What we deal with when we deal with electrical circuits, this is basically what we're doing. In contrast, electricity is the polarization of the ether. No electrons, just dielectric lines of force. The fractals of the pattern, as discussed by the experiential systems, are phases of the waves of energy. Let's see here. Hmm. Let's see. A phase is is a particular appearance or state in a regulatory recurring cycle of changes for something to be in phase. For example, the waves visualize the peaks and valleys of a wave. Uh, Two peaks at the same height will hypothetically be in phase with each other. The zodiac wheel is a circuit of energy traveling in a circle marked by uh, mutable cardinal signs, mutable signs, etc. The houses are positions or stations or phases within the transition of the energy. These types of force-free fields associated with space as opposed to force fields, which are associated with mass, govern our human behavior. That's what Lakowski was talking about in that excerpt I read from his stuff. When you focus your intent, you are literally tapping into a field, like a battery to polarize energy via voltage, pressure, and power a circuit. When we say do forensics on the energy to see why you want the things that you want, we are saying evaluate the field that you are being influenced by. Likewise is the concept of modality. Ice, liquid, and steam are different modalities of water, H2O. The patterns that symbols are different modalities of is a given principle. All forces in the river of changes, in true master language, are different modalities of the ether. The symbol, or because the river of change is what we're calling that, is the discharge place. It's the place of discharge. We are in the plane of discharge, called in this literature the river of changes. The place of inaction, plane of inertia, realm of principle is the plane of charge or infinite energy. So that's just kind of getting a little bit into it. Um, let's see. It's really not. It's really taking, like I said, it's not putting God in a container where he's a dude that you look outside of yourself over there, out there somewhere, and you give your energy to, you know, um, and you are giving your energy to that because I think Dan Winter says focused human attention is charge compression. So you are kind of giving your energy to that. Um, in this sense, you're kind of giving your energy to yourself, or you're focusing your energy inward. All right. So you're actually a part of the divine intelligence. You're a piece of the divine intelligence. Your intelligence is facilitated by the divine intelligence, like cells in a body, as opposed to some dude out there waving his hands and making stuff happen. So that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. Hope y'all enjoy it. If anybody has any questions, DM me, comment, anything, like, comment, subscribe, however it may go. I'm not really an internet guy, like a YouTube content provider. As you can see, the principle that I'm governed by as far as this information is not really it's not really true monetary gain. I'm just really trying to just put the information out, put out relevant material, which may or may not be for everybody. But at the end of the day, um, my purpose in this is really to put the material out rather than to get rich off the material. So, hope y'all enjoy it. Peace.